I have, yeah, I have taken us live, or rather, we are unmuted now. So, welcome to the
Hello, stream.
stream. Hello, hello. I'm gonna see if I can get it to work. Oh no, the camera's immediately froze again, bruh. Okay,
They
wait.
did freeze.
Oh no, now they're good. Now they're good.
Just have a fourth monitor that you can
You both
display
look-
capture.
You both look so
Easy.
concerned.
Yeah. So it.
So-
Oh god.
Oh,
It seems like it doesn't like it.
I'm doxing our conversation, Jeff. You can't message me right now.
It might just be a Discord.
Stop
thing. We'll
Discord messaging me, or else I will dox every message you send.
Oh god. But did I misspell dungeon in my overlay? Oh no. Did I? I did.
Don't go in.
Dung going master. That's really good. Okay. Yeah.
I told you it was gonna be scuffed as hell, and did you believe me?
Yeah. But that's
Also-
yeah.
What are you gonna do if the rest of us ever decide to have face cams? I don't see.
I'll change it up. But I don't expect anyone to. I only asked it of
What do you
Tartarus because he
mean?
only. You know.
I have all four or all six of us on screen right now.
Yeah,
I see that.
exactly. How big do you think
that is
this activity bar thing should be? Is that a good size?
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So yeah.
Alright,
So
I can even make it better.
yeah. So so
think
welcome one and all.
It probably needs a contrasting background, since I can barely tell when some people are going off.
Yeah, I can
agree.
add that at some point. I'll do that at some point. Yeah. Either way, it's mostly I just wanted to make it so there's some way for people to be able to tell who's talking. You know.
All right. Well, for viewer convenience, I suppose I will change my name.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Be right back.
Okay. But yeah, so here, let me go ahead and yeah, it seems whenever I alt tab out of the Discord thing, it just it freezes the camera. That is strange. Either way, not gonna worry about it too much. So, welcome one and all to a new campaign. I did stream the last full campaign that we did about it ended over a year ago now. Like a year, it was like a year,
Something like that.
year and a half ago now. I think we ended that one. So, this is not the first one I've streamed, but I didn't really put a lot of effort into the production value of that one. And this one is obviously very low production value too, but I tried to put together some overlays and stuff. But yeah, so welcome. We have a couple new people in our group. So we have returning with us. We have Drag and Kragox and Perplex, who all played in multiple of my games at this point. And then new, we have Tartarus, who is just now. Oh, never mind. He was returning to his seat. There he is. We have Tartarus. So we also have Tartarus joining us in this campaign, who also streams. And we'll pin people's channels at the end of the session. And then we also have joining us is Sam, who is a real life acquaintance or friend of Tartarus's, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll oftentimes switch between people's names, like real names or their, online names. So, yeah. So, this is the start of a new campaign, so I will probably go a little bit over kind of the background, just what's going on in the world, just for a few minutes before we get into kind of where your characters are, where we're starting. This is also Tartarus's first time playing Dungeons and Dragons, so...
So this is where the Witcher music would fade in while you put on your narrator voice?
It's already been on. I have Witcher music playing right now. And yeah, so I do have a map up here, and this is just a partial map of my world. this my world is very much inspired by and based off of real life medieval Europe. I try to incorporate a lot of like real life language and culture into my world. So this campaign is starting, although it won't really be taking place in an area called the Northern Lands, or just the North. Many different names for it in different languages, but it is essentially the equivalent of real-life Scandinavia. An area of mountains, forests, and farms that is wild in some parts, very safe and civilized in others. It depends on, where you are. There is definitely a sort of... Oh, the frozen can, thank you. Here. So there is definitely a sort of divide. Not a divide between kingdoms so much. In the case of this part of the world, it's a divide of rural and urban. The urban areas are fairly metropolitan now in a cultural sense, fairly diverse, lots of bustling trade, whereas the rural areas tend to be very traditional. And the biggest way that can be seen is when it comes to kind of the views that the people have on war and religion. While there are these sort of kind of stereotypical Viking raiders all over these parts, who will go out on longboats to other lands, lots of times it differs between the different kind of cultural parts of these lands. People from the cities tend to go out on raids opportunistically as mercenaries, basically, or basically privateers, you could kind of think of it as. Whereas on the other hand, lots of people from more rural villages will go on raids as a rite, a religious ritual almost, and kills that they have are considered sacrifices to the gods. So there's there's definitely a sort of a split there. And that's in the more closer areas. In further areas, we have... Here, I'm going to open my notes so it might freeze for a second. Okay. So, as far as other areas, there are a lot of things going on in the world, but... Tartress, are you trying to make it seem like it's froze? So there...
I was staring at your chat.
There are lots of things going on in the rest of the world as well. There are lots of wars raging further to the south. The equivalent of the Roman Empire, or the remnants of it, are fighting against the dwarves and their empire. The kingdom of Seldane, basically the France of my world, is embroiled in a civil war. The Aldish Isles, again, basically like, the English, or the England and Scotland equivalent and stuff, just went through a civil war, and that was actually the subject of the last campaign I streamed. But all of that does not necessarily really matter when it comes to your characters and the North in general. The North being such a harsh place to live, and with its fair share of warriors and raiders on hand, who, while there isn't a super centralized system of government, certainly the kings of the North have their sway, with the jarls below them. And so what that means is that the area is fairly peaceful in terms of internal diplomacy. There's not really much warfare between different parts of this area of the world. And so what that means is that oftentimes people have to turn to raiding beyond the sea. And that is where you guys all come in. For different reasons, you have all picked up a life of raiding. For some of you, this may be your character's first raid. For others, they've been with this group of raiders for a couple of years. And, well, that is the type of stuff that we might explore through conversation when you guys start to get to know each other and the NPCs that you'll be traveling alongside, at least for a while. So our campaign is starting out in the city of Norholm. This raiding crew is a decently sized raiding crew on a decently sized longboat, or longship, that is named the Foxy Lady. That's the name of the ship you guys are on, in case you wanted to know. So the Foxy Lady, with the captain, and I'll put this in the chat, hold on. Captain under the command of Captain Einar the Ever-Watchful. So Einar the Ever-Watchful, oh, camera froze again, there we go. Einar the Ever-Watchful, he's about he's in his early 50s or so, and he's an experienced raider. And you all have, again, known him for varying lengths of time. And so the scene will start today with opening up to this bustling port city of Norholm, where you all are probably going about your day, preparing for the upcoming journey. Really, probably all helping to pack your stuff onto the ship, as well as supplies of the ship. So, this will be a good time to start introducing the characters. And let's see, I wrote down an order that I kind of just picked arbitrarily, but let's have Drake. Why don't you introduce your character first? Is Drake there?
Yeah, what would you like to know?
Oh, yeah, so what would your character be doing to prepare last minute preparations?
Probably just making sure everything's accounted for that was needing to be brought onto the ship and helping things onto the ship as is necessary.
Yeah, and what does your character look like?
He has shoulder length, wavy auburn hair, nice thick meaty mutton chops, also auburn. His face and arms are rather scarred. His left eye appears to have been taken out and been replaced with a glass eye. He wears a pointed cap with a feather in it, both brown. An olive shirt with brown vest. And he has a long, knotty wooden staff that he carries with him.
Okay, yeah. And we had discussed this just a few days ago, but I don't remember. This is his first journey with the crew, correct? Or no,
it's his third.
Third, okay. So he is a relatively new face as a part of the crew, but it's not his first journey either. Let's go from there to Sam, your character. What would they be doing as they are preparing here?
Hey, so Lars Ringstadt is going to be taking his horse with a carriage from his parents' estate, and he's going to be overpacking because he does not know what to bring. He's visibly nervous, wearing more armor than he probably needs to, and he's got probably more food than he needs for the trip. He's hoping this is going to go over easily, and he doesn't have to do too much. Hopefully, a quick raid, get the credit, and get out. Yeah, that's what he's up to. He's bizarrely athletic, although his hands are it doesn't look like he does any manual labor whatsoever. Maybe he just works out or something. I don't really know. Yeah, he keeps to himself for most of the trip and just tries to get onto the ship without any scuffle.
Okay,
that's Lars.
Yeah, as you approach the kind of harbor and the ship, the captain, Captain Einar, again, he's in his 50s, kind of got it looks like he had probably black hair or very dark hair early on in his life, but now it's kind of like salt and pepper. It's speckled. And he would call out and say, Lars, ready for your first raid there?
Oh, absolutely. If it's anything like fishing, we could. It's still a boat. We'll be all right.
And he just nods. Definitely some of the other Lars. Actually, you know what? Here, this is a good chance for our first roll of the campaign. Give me an insight roll.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Any modifiers to that, or?
Be a +1, so 13.
Okay. Yeah, with a 13, definitely that would get you. You get the impression that. Camera froze again. There we go. You get the impression that, because some of the crew members are not even really trying to hide it. That there's a couple crew members definitely who are a bit, I don't know, contemptuous, or like they have a look of just kind of like they basically just roll their eyes, stuff like that, right? And it's not clear at what in particular. It could be at your character's appearance, or it could be at what they said. But clearly, most of the crew doesn't care at all. It doesn't seem, but a couple people definitely kind of roll their eyes and stuff.
I'll make note of it.
Okay, yeah.
I'll make note of the ones who roll their eyes.
Okay, yeah, I got you. And then I'm assuming you begin to pack your stuff onto the vessel.
Yeah, I try to conceal it so I don't get robbed or something.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah. So that would then bring us to Tartarus. Tartarus, what would your character be doing?
Well, I'm just always wandering around Norholm looking for, quick loot that I could get, and I saw this ship pretty unattended, and I just kind of wandered onto it. I'm in the belly of the ship right now, just looking around for some loot.
Well, this is a long ship, so there's enough space maybe in the middle of the deck where you can kind of like crouch underneath the deck. Not a lot of space to really be wandering below decks, but
Okay.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, and I assume that your companion, your orc companion,
Yes.
would have basically secured your work for you. Because your character, as the rest of the group will soon learn, does not speak the local tongue, actually. As you're doing this, kind of like rummaging through stuff, your orcish companion, whose name I literally just sent you, and now it just slipped my mind.
Small, I think?
Shoal.
Shoal.
Yeah,
There you go.
so Shoal is kind of walking around on the deck and comes over and shouts down to you and is like, hold on, Rook, or how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's good.
Rook? Okay.
Rook, yeah.
Rook, what are you doing down there?
Oh, just looting. Just looting and pillaging.
Is it Rook is like or sorry, Shoal is like, Rook, the people we're meant to pillage are not our compatriots here.
I tell him, listen, man, you're the one that's supposed to point me the way. I'm the pillager. You organize it.
Listen, the captain is a good man. Keep your hands out of people's things, and if you listen to what I tell you, I've known this man before, Captain Einar, and if we work with him, then soon our pockets will be lined with gold.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, and the rest of you who are around would see this conversation going down in Orcish, though. So unless you speak Orcish, you wouldn't know what they're saying necessarily. Although you would definitely get the tone. But yeah, so that is... what does your character look like? I apologize.
Well, probably the most striking feature is that he's bald. And Shoal is my barber, by the way. So
Okay.
that's my association with him. We became good friends.
Okay.
And since I was a feral child and raised by orcs, I tend to dress very orcish. I got a lot of piercings, tattered kind of tribal looking apparel. I'm a pretty big dude.
Okay.
I filed my teeth down to be more orcish.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
To fit in well. And I also, since I was I've known no other people in my childhood, I just believe that I am an orc as well.
Yeah.
Even though I am human, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I actually just realized I could just be putting, here's what I'll do. So this is Tartarus's character.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Let me make sure that it's not updating on, do you guys see that? Because
the size of that lad.
Yeah, it's, hold on, there it goes.
Of a continent.
Oh no, oh god, what have I done? Hold on. Technical difficulties.
So, is it not just the cameras that are freezing, but like the whole stream?
Could be. Let me make sure that this is working well. Okay. It could be like an OBS thing.
Speaking of freezing, frozen cams.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is what his character looks like. And sorry, let me go ahead and while we're here, let me put the other characters that we've already seen here as well. So we have Lars, Sam's character. And then they're kind of blown up to a big degree, so they really don't. And then,
can I ask something to the people who would know? Never mind, I figured it out.
Okay.
I was looking for the pop-out window for my character.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is these are, if it'll update on the stream. I think it's just because I have two different instances of Roll20 open, and the second one takes a little bit to go through. So these are the characters we've seen so far. And that will take us to, let's see, Perplex. What would your character be doing? We already know. I know we've discussed a little bit your role in the ship, but what would they be doing, kind of these last-minute preparations before setting out?
I would probably in the last like hour or so, I would probably be going through the town trying to secure everything that I might need to cook on the ship.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Making sure that I have all of the correct spices I might need, all of the freshest meat I can find.
Okay.
Obviously not overstocked. I don't know how long we're going to be sailing, but
yeah, I mean, definitely you would have an idea of that by now, and you probably have another like assistant crew member whose job it is to basically keep track of that sort of thing, the logistics, right? So that you could focus more on your character's passion of the actual cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would be controlling, though. Even if somebody was assigned to it, I would look over them to make sure they were grabbing the correct things.
Okay, yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where they probably, like, you basically gave them a list, they would have gone and fetched it, and then probably when you're done doing your own ingredient shopping, you get back to the ship and you double check to be like, did you get the things I asked? And then,
Yeah, so I would just be making sure that everything that needed to be gotten was gotten.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure the ship is happy.
Yeah.
Well fed.
And definitely the captain always gives you his full support with these kind of endeavors, because the captain believes that a happy crew with a full stomach is the best crew you can have. So definitely the other people who have been with the crew for a while, so Torgir and I guess out of the ones we've gone over, it would just be Torgir. Has already gotten the vibe that this guy can cook well, and he's good at his craft. Speaking of other things that he might have noted, or that he definitely would have noted, can you describe your character's appearance?
Yeah, so I sit at a pretty moderate, about 12-foot height. I have a very striking Viking beard with light eyes and light hair.
Yep, and you all would know that this sort of like having he's definitely not human. Having someone be 11, 12 feet tall. There is a race of people known as the giant folk that are essentially related to true giants and are themselves more like they're not literally half giants. They are just a different race of people, but they're called the giant folk because they don't really fall into the same kind of societal structures or anything else as the rest of the true giants do. And yeah, they grow to be anywhere from, it can vary, but from 9 to 12 feet tall, basically. So yeah, Perplex's character, I apologize, what is their name again? Landor, correct?
Yeah, Landor Gunner.
Okay. Yeah, so Landor is he's on the taller end, definitely. But he's not outside of the realm of a reasonable height for these people.
Which my casual wear, you will notice that I do not wear a lot of proper clothing because none of it fits. It is usually just cloth that has been wrapped around to look as if it was clothing.
Yeah, haphazardly with thrown.
leather straps and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a good segue to take us to a description of his brother. So, Kragox, what does your character look like?
As described, a very large lad. Probably slightly shorter than his brother. Also blonde, although he does not let his hair get quite as majestic.
Okay.
It's more like shoulder length hair.
Look,
and beard.
some of us don't have time for that. Some of us have to cook the food.
Again, with as far as the clothing goes, rather haphazard, although he does have proper if worn pants and boots.
Okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Kind of walks over to his brother like, "Are you still badgering your assistant?"
Well, I gotta make sure he's getting the correct things.
Let me give you a name for your assistant, actually. I have a few names.
Yeah.
It would be a dwarf named Ganeric.
Listen, the moment that Ganeric gets the wrong radish and your dish tastes like shit, you'll know why I do it.
Yeah. Actually, I had an idea. Perplex, roll me. Let's have you roll, because since you specifically said that you would be in your free hours before departure, you'd be looking for ingredients. Roll me an investigation check to see basically are you able to find anything interesting, out of the ordinary, unique in town.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, it hasn't. Alright, have you rolled yet?
Yeah, it was a classy
no.
5.
Okay.
By the way, boy, use your VPN.
Oh yeah, I should. You know what? That's true. Sometimes that fixes.
That's
some...
probably why you're getting a
Yeah,
little
it
lag.
could be. Hold on. Yeah, let me get that going.
The ISP knows what you're doing, boy.
Although actually, maybe I'll wait till break because I don't want to
Yeah.
disconnect. But yeah, that is okay. So you said it's a 5.
Yeah, but if you didn't see it, I can just roll again.
No, I have it now. It just takes some time to go through. Okay.
I mean, but if you didn't see it, then.
So you would be able to find you would be able to find one thing, one thing that is not rare. You've definitely seen it before, but it kind of catches your eye when you're kind of going through the fish market, which there is a decent sized one, seeing as this is a big port. When you're going through the fish market, you would see that they actually have one vendor has a stock of glowing octopus, which is normally regarded as a sign of good luck by a lot of the sailors of the crew and sailors in this part.
All right, yeah, that seems like a good parting dish.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Start the journey off right.
Yeah, and definitely this would be the idea is that you guys are leaving before lunchtime, so you could use that for the lunch meal. And yeah. Sounds good. So we will, I'll mark that down that you would have bought it. I'm not even gonna like make you pay any money. It's coming out of the ship's funds, right? So, so you get some glowing octopus meat, and So Kragox, I kind of interrupted. So your character beyond you describe your character again. They're very tall
Edward.
as well. But they would what would they be doing before kind of talking to their brother about
What is the terrain like outside the city?
It's fairly, I would say there's a lot of farms, but then there's some hills and some forested parts.
Okay, and have we been in this town a couple days?
Yeah, and this is like kind of like your guys' base of operations. So whenever you guys aren't doing raids, you're here. So you know this city.
Okay. So my character probably would have been coming back into town from checking some traps.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
Just a small game like rabbits and stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, you probably caught a couple, and I'm assuming would give them to your brother after you prepare.
I'd have him trussed up on my spear and hand them to my brother. Here you go. A little extra for the stockpile.
Ah, you know I like the freshest meat.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, before I forget, I should probably check the weather.
Yeah. You pull up your iPhone and then look at the weather channel. No. How does your character do that, actually? I'm curious.
Like, honestly, just casually after handing the rabbits off to his brother, he kind of just turns away and starts mumbling in some strange language and waving his fingers, and then some sort of light starts emanating above his hand, and it will represent the weather. Perhaps a small little rain cloud or a little sun will appear, depending on what it'll be like for the next day.
There's a what it actually is that there is a tiny little cloud does appear, but it is in particular it's in an anvil shape. And this is to give you guys an idea. This we're starting off here in the sort of beginning of autumn, more or less. And so, it's still decently warm. It's mild, I would say. It's not really warm, it's not really cold.
Alright. So, at the very least, not a terrible storm. So yeah, Edric would go report to the captain what he's found for the local weather, at least.
Okay. Yeah. At this point, this is we'll say that this is basically sort of toward the end of this kind of preparation, loading up. And Einar, at this point, we'll assume all your characters are around, have basically gotten here and are packing up their things. And this boat is essentially like I said, like a decently sized long ship that has a big sail in the middle, a big square sail that it uses to get some wind power. But then also it is rowed by you all. There really isn't anyone who doesn't row. It's just that some people who have other responsibilities might row slightly less. Like Perplex's character, the cook, when it's time for lunch, he gets a break early, stuff like that. But in general, unless you guys are in a life or death situation, you're not like slaves. It's not like you are forced to row past your limits. It's in general, it's a fairly leisurely pace when you're traveling between locations. And so yeah, that is kind of what all your characters would expect. And so this would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but this would be Lars's first expedition, correct?
Yeah, he's rather unfamiliar.
Okay. And then this is also Rook's first expedition as well.
This is my first time stepping on a boat.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, yeah, Tartarus, your character Rook would definitely get the vibe from their friend Shoal that, and like he had told you, he knows the captain. Shoal, it's been a long time, but he has gone on raids before with the guy. The crew as a whole is mostly human. There are, I haven't put down an exact number, maybe 40 crew members or so. And all of them in pretty good shape, all of them fairly capable of fighting and rowing. It's mostly male, but there are a few females. The captain's daughter is actually with the crew, and she's a noted fighter. She is a skilled fighter. And oftentimes leading the charge on these raids. There's actually a couple of other orcs. So Rook would have a few people to talk to, not just Shoal. And there's a couple of dwarves as well. But the rest are humans beyond the two big boys. As you're all kind of gathered around, Einar would kind of let out a call and basically say, 15 minutes till we hit the open seas. And you guys would hurry about your way. As the kind of last minute preparations are happening, Einar, the captain, would come over to Rook and actually say in Orcish, so you can understand him. Although
he speaks Orcish, right?
Mm-hmm, although his Orcish is not as good as yours, he would say, "Rook, right?"
Yes. I thought he was going to continue.
Well, he's just seeing if he got your name right. He's like, Rook,
okay.
Right? Your friend... I like to think that your character was actually like, yeah. But no, so he motions to Shoal, who's doing his own thing. He's like, your friend, he's a good friend of mine, and if you're anything like him, then you'll be a valuable part of this crew. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say any friend of Shoal is a friend of mine.
He nods, and he's like, he actually would like clasp you on the shoulder, and be like, you'll fit in just fine once you get used to how things go around here. It can be hard work, but there's plenty of money to be made, and the plunders we get will buy you whatever you want. Ale, mead, women, men. He kind of shrugs.
All right. It sounds good to me.
And he gives you like a convincing smile. And he would go around to the rest of the crew as well, just kind of making sure everyone's ready to go. He would eventually make around to Torgir and say to Torgir, he would just basically first be like, how was your morning, Torgir?
Sleep terribly well. What else is new?
Yes, maybe some time out at sea will do you well.
It does.
And maybe it'll give you a chance, give you some time to, practice with these abilities of yours that I've heard about. And I don't know, what would your character's facial reaction be to that?
I would just nod.
Yeah. And he give a smile, and he's like, I know that, he's like, I don't necessarily believe all the rumors about what you did, but certainly you seem like you'll work well with us, and I'm interested to see what you are capable of. And so
I will just as he's leaving, just murmur very quietly to myself, "You and me both."
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so he would go around and check on everyone. He would come by to Landor and be like, did you get everything you were looking for and more, hopefully?
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed I did. In fact, I pull out the glowing squid. Octopus? Squid?
Yeah, glowing octopus. They might even call
Octopus?
it a squid. I don't know. Either way, yeah. And he's like, yeah. He's like, the crew will appreciate that. Well, the first meal out at sea is always the toughest for them, leaving behind the taverns and alehouses and brothels.
They say that this squid has good luck for the seas.
He's like, I've heard that one too. We'll hope that it holds true.
With my proficiencies?
You don't mind if I interject?
Yeah.
That's a Septioculithus incandescent. I was a seafood salesman myself, so I'm quite familiar. It's a good choice. Good cut.
I'm not sure what it's called, but I know that it's good.
It's this glowing squid.
Yeah, and the captain.
I hold it up to him as if cheering for some reason.
The captain would look over to Lars and be like, oh god, I was trying to think how you say this. He'd be like, you already know something about the sea. I had heard from your father that, maybe you'll be able to help in the kitchen as well as with everything else.
Hey, I know a thing about boats, fish.
Remind me what my assistant's name is again.
Oh yeah, Gaderick. Or no, Ganerick. Ganerick, sorry. I'll put it in the chat. Ganerick.
I gestured to the captain. Yeah, maybe we can replace Ganerick with somebody who knows a thing or two around there.
Ganerick in Dwarvish is like, hey, fuck off. But that's just kind of, that's, he doesn't, that's just kind of the rapport, yeah.
We've worked with each other. We got the kitchen vibe going.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and so the captain chuckles and is like, we'll see. And yeah, the rest of the preparations will go without a hitch, and you guys will, again, it's your crew is just another of many ships that are like this that are in port. It's not like there's really a crowd of people or anything. And so, maybe like a couple acquaintances who work at the dock would say goodbye to those of you who they know. And wish you good luck, because they know what your plans are. And you would basically head out, push off, all in your oar benches, ready to row with the oars. The plan, as far as you guys know, is to basically... I'm going to remove these tokens now. The plan, as far as you guys know, is to basically raid the coast of the Aldish Isles, actually. It is a common raiding ground for the people of the north. And so you would know that the plan is to basically go to some villages that don't really have much in the way of defenses, basically scare off the villagers, take whatever you can, and go to the next spot, do it a couple more times, and come back. And that is pretty much the normal way that this crew works. For those who are new, so Lars and Rook, you guys wouldn't necessarily know what to expect, but the other crew members, including for Rook, Shoal, have assured you that normally the fighting is minimal. Maybe some guards, but you have to imagine the people you're raiding. It's not like they're not bloodthirsty fanatics. They are just villagers trying to guard their things, and they would much rather live and be stolen from than die fighting for their stuff. So most of the time, it's pretty easy. Kill a couple villagers, the rest will scram, and then you just loot. So that is the idea.
Here's hoping we get far away from here before that storm comes.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, as you guys are pushing off to sea in like the mid-morning, There are some clouds in the sky, but nothing too major right now. And yeah, you begin to travel. For those who are newer to this, it is probably somewhat, especially for Rook. I imagine actually that Rook, most of the orcish places are up in the hills and mountains. This might be his first time on a boat, or at least a true.
I'm already hurling over the side.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Make me a Constitution saving throw. This will be let's see. So yeah, on your.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
25.
A 25? Okay, yeah, it's not going through for me, which is on my end. But okay, 25. So
plus, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So probably what I would say then is that like you might hurl once, but it is like after that you're good, and also you. Like you know, basically it might take like a few hours, and after that you're good. And they were kind of some of the crew were probably actually kind of like I don't know, like laughing at you, thinking that you're gonna vomit real quick, like, oh, this landlubber. But then you're basically just like, oh no, I'm good for hours on end, and eventually, you know, it gets to you a little bit, but they're impressed. They actually are impressed, and.
I threw up in my mouth and I just swallowed it.
No, yeah, that works. For 25, I'll say it. You can just go, yeah, you throw up and go, oop, and then you're good to go. So no one even knows that you threw up.
Nice.
Maybe Shoal, who is your like ore bench buddy.
Yeah. Anyone that gets close enough to smell.
For a second.
Yeah. But yeah. How it would normally work is that, so you would all be basically around the middle of the ship. Probably the big boys, the giant folk boys. The brothers would be slightly back, and also would only have one of them on each side. Or like, normally you have the benches on both sides of the ship, and each bench has 2 people. So you have like 4 people in a row, 2 on each side. But on one row, it's just Landor on one side, and then... Oh god, Kragox, what is your character's name? Adric on the other. So, you guys basically, you know, row for 2 people. But yeah.
And then it's probably, like, just fine.
Oh yeah. It's, yeah, you guys honestly have enough strength when it comes to like rowing to make up for more than 2 people. So
the job is probably one of Adric's favorite on the boat, at least as far as the menial jobs go, since it's just start rowing and turn your brain off.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those things, and it's one of those things that for your characters it would be easy. The limiting factor is not even your size; it's that the oars are not really like made for you. So
yeah, and I assume somebody's also like keeping the beat for us with a drum or a song or something.
Yeah, you would have a drummer at the back. We'll say actually, yeah, the drummer. I already know who it is. Their name is Avar. Who I'll put his name in chat. Avar is he's actually quite old. He's like in his early 70s. And you get the vibe that he was a really good fighter in his prime and probably can still hold his own, but really it's just because he is a wise old man and it's good to have a wise guy like him on board. And also he is good at keeping a beat. so he's the drummer of the vessel. And like I said, since he's so wise and old, he's also kind of, you could say, like the unofficial kind of like chaplain of the boat.
Can I have a drum battle with this dude?
They not while you're rowing probably, but like, you know, when you're sleeping and stuff, you know.
when you're sleeping,
or not while you're sleeping.
I get you. In leisure time, right?
During the off hours.
Yeah, maybe you can play the drum while you're asleep.
Well, no, during the off hours. Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe his character is just that good at drumming, you know.
I am.
But I meant like before sleep when you're stopped rowing for the day. So, Yeah. So. Oh god. But yeah. So the. Let me see. Let me make sure. So the first day passes without incident. There is actually a thunderstorm, and that's what you had seen. Kragox, your boy, had seen. Adric had seen a thunderstorm thing, and it was a thunderstorm. It was not a particularly notable one, and it just kind of rained on you guys a little bit in the afternoon, and then was gone. So, nothing too crazy. And the first day would go well.
Good call, brother.
Perplex, if you want to, roll me a cooking check. Which, like, you have proficiency in the tools, right?
Yeah. Should I add, like, what should I add to it?
I would say
like
wisdom. Yeah, I would say wisdom.
You just know how to spice it.
Okay, that time it went through instantly for me. Okay, so a 17, and a 17 is pretty good. So yeah, you do like a pretty good job of like much better than an average person could do in general. You do a pretty good job of preparing this octopus as well as some other stuff to go with it. However, what I will say. A couple people in the crew, not any of the other player characters, but a couple of the people in the crew do actually get sick, and it's because after a couple, like someone like throws up a couple hours later, you're able to kind of diagnose the issue, and it wasn't your cooking, but rather apparently some of the parts of the octopus meat were not quite as well like prepared when it was caught.
Gaderick, what the hell? You were supposed to look over this.
And he's like, you're the one who got it, not me.
You're the one that's supposed to get the ingredients. What are you talking about?
And he's just like grumbling away. He's like, oh god. But yeah. So either way, he grumbles, and the crew are all fine. It's just one of those things where it's like. You were able to find that good, the meat, but some of the crew are grumbling about it. They're like, some of the crew are not happy. They're like, it's supposed to be a sign of good luck, but then they got, like, food sickness. So they're kind of like, is that trying to say something about the?
It seems like you lot were cursed.
And they'd be grumbling and like glaring at your character, not necessarily because they blame your character, but just they need someone to blame or to like
Let's not start that this early. Tell you what, I'll check it for poison tomorrow.
And yeah, so how would I'm curious how Torgir in particular would react to some of the like other crew mumbling about like this bad sign, as they put it.
Closing my eyes, trying to block out their words, and just whispering prayers to myself.
Yeah. I like to think that the big boys are probably too busy like talking to each other and to Ganeric to notice, but I like the idea that Rook and Lars might notice that this other newer member of the crew, or you get the vibe from the rest of the crew, that he isn't quite integrated yet. And he is, they are kind of like looking, or he is looking kind of like he's off in his own world with his eyes closed like this. But yeah.
It actually occurs to me why we're at the back. Nobody would be able to see past us.
That is true. That's true. It's also partially, you're not at the very back, you're kind of like 2/3 the way back. The other reason is for like weighting purposes. Like you guys weigh so much that to like make it so the front end of the ship is above the back end, Yeah. But yeah.
What do you mean? I'm only like 500 to 600 pounds.
Yeah, you're the weight of like 3 normal people.
We have to strategically go to opposite ends of the boat if one of us has business on one end.
I mean, the boat is big enough that it's like not that big. It's not that big of a deal, but it's certainly like when you're rowing for a long period of time, being like 1 or 2% more efficient, it makes a big difference in the long run, you know. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first day passes without incident. It ends up being fine. The crew, besides the kind of incident of the food poisoning, food sickness, in general, everyone's pretty and the grumbling of having to leave port and the comforts of port. Beyond that, though, the weather's nice and people are in a fine mood. And yeah, you would kind of stop rowing for the night. I'll go to bed. Maybe, I don't know, Tartrus, would your character look at the old man, the drummer, and try to challenge him?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. How would you express
I'm a
this?
drummer.
Are you gonna how would you express this? Are you gonna use your translator or?
No, I can't speak to him. I just stare at him dead in the eyes and take my drum and beat on it once while staring at him.
Okay, I like it. So this is like as you're all like sitting around eating dinner or having finished eating dinner.
Yeah. He knows what I mean.
The old man is kind of like he is friendly with everyone, but he isn't necessarily too sociable. He's not an extrovert. So he'd just be kind of like looking around and like looking at the sky and the stars that are kind of starting to show as the sun dips. And you just bang the drum once, and it catches his attention. He sees you staring at him as you have been for a while probably. And he like motions to his drums.
Mm-hmm.
And
I give him a little nod.
Uh-huh. And he like pull them over to his like in front of his feet where he's like kneeled or like sitting. And he would like look at you and like basically give you a nod, like you can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Then I start playing the drums. I do, we start off simple. Just a little drum beat, nothing too crazy, and then he responds.
Yeah.
And then we get crazier and crazier.
Okay, yeah. At first, you would definitely actually roll me. This is a good time. Roll me an insight check.
No. F. I got a 6.
A 6. Okay, yeah, it hasn't come through yet. Okay, yeah. So it would take you a while. You will notice this, but it's just gonna take a while. Like you would definitely, you would eventually realize that he doesn't think it's a competition. Like he just thinks you're trying to jam. He thinks it's a jam session. And it would go on for like 20 minutes before your character would realize, wait a minute, he's not even unleashing his full power. No, no, but it would go on a while before he realizes, or before you realize. So then, how would you like make it clear that it's a competition?
I'd just fucking start going off, dude.
Okay.
I'd break the rhythm that I have going off with him, do a completely different rhythm, and just do my full drumming might.
Okay, yeah.
And see how he responds. Yeah.
All right, roll me. Let's see. Do you have proficiency?
I do have a drum.
All right, if you click on that, it should ask you like what attribute or what.
Yep.
Okay, you do charisma.
All right.
And then
what is your 5?
A 5. Okay.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's so maybe it's this foreign environment and stuff, or maybe it's just
the
literally
motion of the ocean.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say maybe it's just the fact that you're on like a boat and even though your stomach is fine, the movement kind of messes with your drumming. And here, I'll roll for this boy. Hold on. So I'll roll since he's old and wise and it's a long time. I'll say he has a +1. He's slightly more charismatic than the average person, and I'll even say that he's proficiency too. So at the same level you would. So let's see. Okay.
Oh, damn.
That's not a huge difference though.
Yeah.
So what I'll say is that basically, because he wasn't really expecting it, he didn't think you wanted a competition. When you kind of like break rhythm and just kind of go into this crazy kind of like beat that you have, it kind of throws the rest of the crew, some of whom were listening intently, like off balance. They're like, "What is this?" But then he tries.
I never heard nothing like that before.
but then he tries to match it, and he tries to match it, but he is clearly not comfortable with this style of play either. So neither of you do particularly well.
Okay, I feel like because he also didn't do well, even though, I didn't do so well myself, I'm not angry enough to punch through my drum, and I'm like, okay, I have a lot to learn from this dude.
Okay, yeah, it definitely, at the end of this, even though, like, it's clear, it's basically more one of those things, like, you kind of both sucked equally. It's really just that the crew knows him better, so they don't really want to hurt his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of them like kind of clap half-heartedly for him. No one claps for you. Shoal does. Shoal claps for you.
I express equal disapproval.
How do you express your disapproval?
Just like a pedantic. Was that supposed to be music or something?
I like it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so
I'll throw my drum at his head.
Well, actually, I mean, that's the thing though. Is Shoal would have to translate this for me.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So,
I don't understand.
So yeah, you can ask Shoal what he's saying. Just like nothing. He said it's fine.
Yeah, I look over. I give him like a little smile.
Oh jeez. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, the first night beyond that passes without much incident. Would anyone else kind of make up any conversation or anything? Strike up conversation? If not, that's fine. You don't have to. But if anyone has anything they wanted to discuss, or
I will be doing some introspection.
Okay, so kind of like off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm eating prepackaged lasagna because I bring some old meals from home.
Okay,
eating the ship fare.
I like it. Okay, interesting.
Do you have refrigeration for that?
Well, it's only been like one day. It's been okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's
it'll be fine. I'm actually curious. Would Perplex, would Landor be offended by this?
So I was going to say Landor would probably. What is your character's name again, Sam?
It's Lars.
Lars. Okay. I would come up to Lars. You had a lot of insight on the seafood that I was preparing previously. I would come up to you and just sort of get it with the intent to hear more about what I could search for in the future. But noticing your prepackaged meal, I would look at you a little offhanded, I think. I would still come up to you about seafood, and maybe the places we're going, wherever that may be. I don't know where we're going, to be honest.
Hey there. Yeah. So what kind of you're interested in seafood? You ever been to a seafood market? You ever auction off a tuna? You ever see anything like that? Listen,
I've bought a tuna at an auction.
Okay. So you're familiar.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we're raiding the Aldish Isles. We could just raid the sea, get some more tuna. There's a great crew. But hey, I'll let.
I've been telling them for years.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, if you ever buy fish, I mean, you can bring me along, and I'll help you inspect. If for next time, I guess. If that. No offense. So I just I prefer the. I'm taking my home comforts for as long as I have them, if that makes sense.
I understand. No food should go to waste.
Okay.
Pretty respectful.
And yeah, definitely you'll be coming along for any seafood ventures.
I'm
not that idiot Ganorak. Ganorak. Ganorak?
Ganorak, yeah.
Right there.
That fool.
He's like, fuck you. This is gonna be his catchphrase.
So you're kind of poaching for a new assistant. Is someone who knows how to work the stalls? That's something you're interested in. Hey, I can get you better prices too. I don't know whatever the heck Ganorak gets you, but hey, I know how to work work a deal, you know?
Yeah, I don't know about the prices. You'd have to talk to the captain about that one.
Maybe I will.
He just gives me the coin, and I throw it at him.
Yeah, the captain, by the way, has just been talking with a couple of the more senior kind of raiders, and his daughter would be like there. They'd be kind of like 3 or 4 of them in a little circle, eating their dinner.
Is he nearby?
He's like the ship is not that big, so everyone's somewhat nearby. But yeah, he might overhear a little bit of that conversation when you kind of talk about him a little bit.
I also turn around to Einar and say, "Hey, how do you get the coin for the meals on this place, eh?"
The loot we bring, sorry, the loot we bring back from the raids is more than enough to pay for good meals for my men. A crew with an empty stomach is little more than useless.
Yeah, I know. The Ringstead Incorporated. It's a pretty good vendor for any sort of seafood wares you may need in the future.
He chuckles. He's like, I know your family well enough to know that if I do need such things, I will go to them.
Cheers. I will drink the ship's alcohol if there is any. I don't know if this is a part of the meal or not.
Yeah, they would have ale. Probably kind of watered down ale. Nothing too great.
Can't get too smashed on this ship. Yeah.
Gotta keep the water fresh somehow.
I will also offer you my homemade wine.
Ah.
From the fruit that maybe didn't make it.
Oh, that's got some mold on it. It's in the wine bucket.
I'm gonna roll Constitution for myself.
Well.
well, here, let's see. Let's
add some good umami.
I'd probably take it. I don't spit it out, although my tastes being as refined as they are, it was a little bit difficult to swallow. Is all I will say. It was
I know it's not good, but it gets you through the trip.
Whatever works.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So there are probably some other minor conversations, but the rest of the night will pass without incident. I actually don't even know how long ships would traditionally would they just float around at night, or would they have some sort of anchor? I'm gonna say you guys would have some sort of anchor. And in this part of the sea, it's probably viable to use it, although further out it might not be. Yeah. And you would have a couple people on watch. None of you guys would just be some other random crew members. Yeah, you'd all wake up, have a decent breakfast, and get going the next day. And this day will pass mostly without incident as well, until about, well, actually not even that far in, a couple hours into the day. I actually want all of you to roll me an insight check.
Got a 5.
Okay.
17.
Okay, 17. Here, one second. I'm gonna close my door. Sleemer's home. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I actually see all the rolls. So, it would be, okay, so yeah, so
Lars's roll.
oh, it's above there. He just
he's doing manual rolling.
Yeah, same as doing manual rolling, which is totally cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, Tartarus, you can roll as your characters, so it shows up as your character's name in the chat if you want.
How do I do that?
It's at the
bottom right, it's as.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, you would definitely, so Landor would be the first to notice that, hey, I'm kind of busy right now. Can you close the door? Thank you. So the sorry.
Thanks, Lemur.
Hello, Lemur.
So the what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say?
I was the first to notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Landor is the first to notice that
Lemur was the encounter.
yeah, Landor is the first to notice that the captain seems to be like looking. The captain kind of paces the length of the ship a couple times, which is not necessarily normal, and he seems to be kind of apprehensive. Sam, your character, Lars would notice this as well. Even though you don't know the captain that well, you can clearly tell that there's something on his face. The rest of you would take a little longer, but by the time the rest of you are kind of like realizing something's up, Landor would actually kind of realize, like, wait a minute, maybe I should like look around and take a glance around. And Landor, behind your ship, very far back, very distant, but definitely there, definitely visible, are two square sails in the distance. There are two square sails in the distance of another vessel. Actually, two. Sorry,
Are
two.
you okay?
It's two separate other vessels. Like it's definitely two separate ships.
I would come up to the captain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would be while you're rowing, so you'd probably wait till he walks
I
by.
would,
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd wait for him to pace by and be like, I assume you've seen the ships behind us.
In a low voice, like he definitely doesn't want to draw too much attention to it. He says,
Yeah.
He says, yes, it's two longboats like ours.
Shall we pick up the pace?
He nods, and he would actually just nod to the drummer and kind of call out and basically say, I don't know the terminology he would use, but he would be like 10 beats faster or something. I don't know. They measure it in beats per minute. Probably not. But, he would say something equivalent to basically pick up the pace of like 10% faster. And the drummer would oblige, and you would all notice now, definitely, and that is not normal. You wouldn't normally pick up the pace unless something is up. Does anyone else like ask or call out, or the rest of you haven't seen the sails yet? But
could I have overheard this conversation?
Roll me a perception check real quick.
All right.
Because you're not super close, but
nah.
I would say no. Yeah, probably not. The sound of the swooshing of the water under the oars probably covers it up.
I'd ask the person sitting beside me, is something going on?
Yeah, we'll say it's just a random crew member. They would shrug and be like, I don't know, but I'm sure the captain's got it handled if there is. And, unless anyone calls anything else, this will go on for an hour or two, and definitely eventually there would be whispers and murmurings through the crew, and definitely now other people have seen the sails and they would call attention to it. No one says anything like loudly, but it's kind of like everyone is ignoring the fact that there are these vessels behind you guys. And you all can glance back and see that they are clearly, if not following you guys, going in the exact same line that you are. And an hour or two passes like this. They don't turn away. And they are very slowly catching up to you all. Does anyone...
I'm sweating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would call out to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, brother?
As the people on the ship have well aware noticed, there are ships approaching. Use your magic or something. What the fuck are they doing?
What am I going to tell a seagull to attack them?
I don't know how it works.
Obviously. Maybe you should pay attention to something other than cooking for once.
I'll paranoidly like check to make sure that the anchor's not still down and like, you know, the sails are all up and, you know, just double checking things that are obviously going all right.
Yeah, no, definitely, exactly, yeah. Like, you would look over it, and everything is fine. It's just that they are very slowly catching up to you. Like, again, very slowly. They're miles back at this point. But, yeah.
I talked to Shoal, have a quick little discussion with them, and just say, you know, I don't know if they're enemies or if they're competition, but either way, it's not going to be good. So I'm mentally gearing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of discussion like this murmured throughout the ship. You would definitely notice that about after another hour or two, and they're still definitely. It's very clear they're following you guys because it's just too, you know, coincidental. And in fact, the captain would even like slightly change course to like see if they do, and they do. They match your guys' course, your heading, and so yeah, it becomes clear that they are following you all. And after a few more hours, they've gotten a little closer. And the captain, actually, you would all see, he's paced a couple more times, but he goes to the back, and you would hear, you know, since he would be behind you, you would hear maybe like the clinking of metal, and turn around and see that he actually has a spyglass. A fairly basic one. Spyglasses are still pretty rare, pretty expensive. And he doesn't even use it most of the time, but on occasion he'll pull it out and use it. And he pulls out the spyglass and looks, and those at the back, we'll say both of the giant boys, the brothers, would hear him just mutter like shit under his breath.
How bad?
You like say that to him?
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of give you a look, like basically the look would basically say like, you don't want to know. And at this point, before you can even say anything else, he would basically briskly walk to the front of the ship and then address the whole ship and basically say, "All right, men, it is clear that the people following us are, well, it is what I had hoped it wouldn't be. It is some fanatics, raiding fanatics." He might even have a term for that I can't think of. But he would basically say it's some fanatical raiders, zealots. And you all would know, or not all, but I would say the brothers would know from experience, because you've actually run into groups like this before. There are occasionally groups of the other groups of raiders that are, again, mostly from rural areas, and are so fanatical that they basically view profiteering raiders like you guys as heretics. There are some groups of raiders who basically view raiding as a religious ceremony, and anyone who does it for any other reason besides directly in the name of the gods is a heretic that should be killed. And so he would convey this, basically, and murmurs would go around filling in those of you who wouldn't know that. And so after the murmurs kind of die down, he would say, "Listen, we have a good crew, and if possible, I'd like to avoid fighting them. We have a good crew of rowers, and I'd rather avoid them if possible. 2 ships full of berserkers or whatever they may have we might be able to eke out a victory, but I'd rather not try. I'd rather stick to rowing, and if you men are fine with it, we are we're gonna switch to a doubled pace. We'll rotate out, but this might be hard. We might have to eat some quick rations and just push on through. We might even have to push on through the night. But if we can keep going, we might be able to lose them. And he would kind of like look to the rest of the crew like for approval or disapproval. It's one of those things where clearly this is an order, not a question, but he still wants to know, you know. What would your guys' characters, like, what would their faces show? Would they be openly for this or against it, or?
I would be definitely for this. Much rather battle if we have to on land than on the water anyway.
I would show content.
Okay.
Gear looks utterly exhausted already.
Okay. Torger's exhausted.
Yeah. Adric
Terrified but approval.
Okay.
Adric would look at his brother and Giant say, "They'll probably demand our deaths."
How far from any shore are we?
This would be when you guys are... So actually, I can just put this like on the map, like circle roughly where you are. This would be... You guys are somewhere out in like the middle of the sea here. I don't know. Did that go through? It looks like it did.
Yeah.
So, you guys are somewhere out in the middle of the sea. You know, your best bet.
Great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore me.
Okay. so yeah. Yeah. Kragox, roll me a nature check as well.
All right. Oh god, where did I put the game? Can't even see my own roll. 11.
11. Okay. You would definitely, even using your thing, I don't know if you would use your weather thing every morning, but...
Probably out of habit, since it's just a good utility.
Okay. You would definitely know...
The problem with it is it's for the local area, so if we travel far enough, it might...
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. That's why I had you make the nature check, is because your character, especially when you're being followed, would probably be trying to figure out, like, what is the weather going to be like. And unfortunately, they can tell with the spell that there's going to be rain in the local area, but they don't know really necessarily how hard it's going to be where they're going to, you know, and when it'll be necessarily. The nature check was to see basically, like, could you kind of, like, feel the wind and, like, the temperature changes and stuff. You're not able to get a good enough kind of grasp on it to know exactly, but definitely there will be a storm at some point.
Well, and with any luck, the weather will turn and dissuade them from fighting.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, like you guys had said, it seemed like everyone was content with this plan of action, even though some people are varying levels of exhaustion or fear. And you'd pick up the pace. You would have he would set up a rotation where basically each row in order would get like a 15-minute break while the rest of them are going double pace. And then it would rotate through every 15 minutes so that people aren't getting too exhausted. But it's still grueling work. This is the type of stuff you would do in battle, and you're now being expected to do it for quite some time. In fact, the whole rest of the day comes and goes, and what you've noticed, even though that at first you gained distance because they were going at a normal pace as well as you guys, but then clearly they pick up their pace as well and are gaining on you slowly but surely. And the whole day goes like this into the night. I'm actually going to have you all roll me a Constitution saving throw to see if you get a level of exhaustion.
I got a 6.
Okay, 6.
Did I do athletics, or is that...
No, it would have to be a Constitution saving throw here. Right, yeah, because like, yeah, like the idea is that athletics would be for the actual rowing abilities, but that's not so much what I'm worried about here, because, you know... This is more basically...
Good, boys.
This is more basically, can your body just handle all this physical stress? Let's see. Oh, it's taking some time to go. Oh, no. Adric got a 5, I see. And then, oh my god. I'm just now seeing them. Wow.
Yeah, it ain't good, brother.
That's rough because it was only DC 10, which is like, yeah. And you guys have, like, let's see, the ones who failed have +5, +5, and +4.
Yep.
That's just bad luck. You know, that much. The good thing, I mean, it's just one level of exhaustion. The Lars and Rook, you guys are actually fine.
Only 2 more to death.
No, it's 5 more to death. And but yeah.
Oh, is it not 3?
No, it's six levels. The first level of exhaustion, in case you didn't know, is that I believe it's just disadvantage on ability checks. Correct, Craig Ox? You might know. Or Drake, yeah. I was like, one of you guys might know.
It's just ability checks.
So, yeah, in other words, it doesn't affect attack rolls, it doesn't affect saving throws, it doesn't affect movement. It's just skills, basically. Ability checks.
We're basically so warm.
And initiative.
Skilled labor.
Oh, and initiative. That is true. Yeah, and it is exhausting in the normal definition of the word for everyone. It's just that only a couple of you, or the 3 of you, will have 1 level of game mechanics exhaustion. That is rough, but yeah.
Is there where do I put that level of exhaustion if I were to get one?
I don't know if the sheets have anything.
Okay.
There's an option for it.
Okay, I think if you go to the cog wheel, you might be able to enable the options for that.
Yeah, it's in the top right general options toward the bottom.
Yeah, but you're actually good though.
I normally put it in my resources.
Yeah, that's what I've done. Is like make a resource counter.
Track.
Oh. But yeah, so either way, this basically that check is for this whole day and then into the night as you guys get going. And
it actually tells you on there what the effects are.
Yeah.
Yeah. The captain will make the decision to, even though you're being chased, he will make the decision to use lanterns on the front of the vessel. He would much rather not crash into something, even if it does kind of make it so that you guys will be followed more easily. The other vessels are also using some sort of light. And now they are a couple miles away. And thank you for the raid, TSM, by the way. So as you guys are going along through the night, it does get literally exhausting. But you kind of keep a somewhat reasonable distance from them. Towards the morning of the next day, without sleep even, besides little 10-minute cat naps here and there in your breaks, during this sort of... when it gets towards dawn, the clouds start to boil over into storm. And it begins to rain, and the waves start to get choppier. And it becomes even harder to keep on track. And the whole morning goes like this. At this point, they are, still a ways back, but you can start to make out figures on their vessels. And definitely you can tell that they are full to the brim with raiders eager to fight you.
From my understanding of the Northern religion, is there any precedent to their claims?
That's a good question. It's one of those things where it's like, that's their interpretation of it, right? It's not necessarily the interpretation most people hold, but if you kind of twist some myths and doctrine around, it could be considered true.
So, they're basically some, political or military sects that are crazy.
Yeah, they're
basically tolerated, but...
Yeah. They, most of the time they will raid other people, not their countrymen, right? But they do view countrymen of theirs, like you guys, that are profiteering, basically, they view you guys as being, almost worse than the other people they raid. So, they kind of have a radical view on it.
I'm going to encourage our captain to have my brother and I just show our presence to the edge of the ship.
Okay. Yeah.
And hopefully have some form of intimidation.
Okay. Sure. Do you, Okay, yeah, I'd allow that if you guys both want to roll, or if one of you wants to assist the other. Either one of those.
I would rather assist my Kragox.
All right, so what you gonna like lift me up? So I'm very visible or something?
Well, I'll just join you in a giant chant or something. You know?
I suppose with how big we are, we probably could do a chant loud enough to be heard, huh?
Yeah, I would say so.
Pipes.
Yeah. So yeah, feel
Alright,
free to.
Yeah, we can do some old war song that we may have known from our childhood.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something. Their equivalent from
they probably don't know that though, and you would.
but it's in giant, so.
Yeah, I feel free to roll that.
I will like stifle a laugh.
You want to know what's sad? Actually, wait. Did you get exhaustion?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. You? Oh god. So we're just rolling normal then.
Well, so I think he's gonna assist you, so you would just have a.
Yeah, I'm assisting you.
So you're gonna be the one making the roll for both of you, basically.
Yeah, I will be rolling normal.
Okay.
Though, since I've
it is. That is true. Yeah.
As well.
Okay.
So intimidation, I assume.
Yep, intimidation.
Hey.
Yo.
What'd you get?
20.
Oh, okay, nice. And then I want actually both of you to roll me an insight check, just individually, just you two.
10.
Okay.
23.
Oh wow. Okay.
23.
So Adric is kind of leading this chant, and it you can definitely tell that you nail the execution of it perfectly. But then when you're looking back, and Landor is kind of like a little preoccupied, maybe thinking about how he can't cook true meals right now. Adric, on the other hand, is able to tell even from afar that even though you nailed this perfectly, and it was intimidating objectively, it seems like it almost makes them double their efforts. Like, these guys are more eager to fight now that they've seen this show of force.
Oh no, brother, I think it backfired.
I'm
just gonna whisper to my brother, well, the captain's an idiot. He should have had us fight while we were strong.
You definitely hear after a few seconds, you hear their drums pick up in like their just the amount of force they're using. It's very, very distant, but now you can kind of hear it, and then you actually hear a war cry let out from their ships. And it's very far, but you can hear it.
So what do we do? Do we stop and fight them?
Captain, hello?
The captain would be like, no, he'd be like, this storm is picking up. Stay on the course.
All right. I guess we'll go back to take oars over from somebody else, presumably.
Okay. Yeah.
I yell at the captain in Orcish. I've had enough of rowing. Let's turn and fight.
And Shoal would be like, he would try to calm you down. He's like he knows what he's doing. But even Shoal sounds like he's faltering a little bit in his faith. But
I would probably say
he's
something
just a barber.
Similar.
He doesn't know
I'd probably
anything.
say something similar to my brother in Giant.
Okay.
Just reiterating that I think that the captain is an idiot.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've already committed so much to this course.
Discontent.
Mm-hmm. As the next kind of 30 minutes or so play out,
Can I use my hatred as fuel to just row faster?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'll give you guys all a chance here to do an athletics check. This is a good time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna use my rage. I was gonna ask if I could do that.
I would say
to throw the boat faster.
like if you want to burn one to get advantage on the roll, I would allow that.
I already rolled. That's okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh god, you guys.
I got a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So then,
why am I rolling doubles?
yeah.
True.
Okay, so then Rook got a 7, a 3,
Snake
19 from Lars. Oh, I see. Drake was the second one was because the exhaustion. Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so 7, 3, 8, 14. Okay, so like that's the thing, right? When you average all those out, Lars has put it in some work, you know, and Adric is hidden above his weight class, which for him is like really good because he's already big. But
basically, I'm doing good for 2 people worth of rolling.
Exactly, yeah. But when it kind of all evens out, you know, you guys, some of you are doing better, some of you are worse than average, and so it kind of evens out. So it kind of is the same situation it has been, where you guys are keeping a decent distance, but they are slowly creeping up on you guys. However, in this time, in this 30 minutes or so, the waves do start to pick up. The captain, it does seem, was right in his prediction that the storm begins to pick up, and the waves get choppier and choppier. And it definitely makes it seem like their pace slows as well as you guys, but now it's kind of one of those things where you're both kind of fighting the waves more than you are each other in this race.
God, we should have intimidated the ocean.
Yeah, and so as you start, as this starts happening, for a few minutes, you're just battling these high waves until you all hear a scream, like a blood-curdling scream of pain.
Does it sound nearby?
It is nearby. It is on the vessel, and you all turn your head and see back near the back of the vessel, one of the some random crew member, basically right next to the captain, has been impaled, stabbed through the neck rather, with a spear, and there's blood pouring out from them, and clambering up onto the deck is a humanoid figure that has bluish scales all over their body and some fin-looking elements protruding from some parts of their body. And we're going to take a little break. This is a good time to take a break, and when we get back, it will be initiative.
I gotta go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Drake has to actually go, but when we come back, we will have our first combat. So, yeah, I'm gonna
Drag.
I'm gonna go ahead and put us on the overlay, and while we're on break, I will try to fix the cameras and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was gonna say he ruined my overlay.
Oh,
break.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we will reconvene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, depending on if I have technical difficulties. We'll see. But yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I turned off the sounds. Mostly, it hasn't been abused, but just in case.
Well, I had to do it to you when you said, "Oh, only I can hear."
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, that is true. When we were on break, I could only, yeah.
That's like you're deeming at the time.
I mean, you still can only hear it.
Not saying I wouldn't do it if the combat was looking a little sketchy to distract you or anything.
Yeah, well, no, we're unmuted now, so now if you did it, everyone could hear it. Well, but not you guys, I guess that's what you mean.
But what?
But yeah, we're back.
We're still safe.
What?
Yeah.
You should just put like a 20,000 point thing where when we're in combat, they can just kill enemies for us.
Oh, like a lightning strike.
Do like an act of God thing, and you'll come up with something thematic that will happen to the enemies that's bad.
I might consider that. Yeah, 20,000 points is a lot. Something like that would, yeah, I could. Or maybe I'll do less, but like something that would affect it in a minor way, like 5,000 for the enemies to get some boon, or for you guys to have some good thing happen, you know.
Yeah, you could just have like minor ones like bad luck, good luck for enemies or us.
That honestly might mess around with that idea, but yeah. Or I also kind of want to 50k just kill a player character, bruh.
No, it's gotta be more than 50k. Henry can't kill the whole party.
Yeah, Henry could just come in and do a total party kill.
Nah, not 50k points. If you
50k bits.
If you give us 50k bits on our own channels, we'll die.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, if somebody donates me 50k bits, I'll kill the DM.
No, but maybe I'll do. I do think. So like when the other game that I'm a part of with Ollie, he has it so that like on people who support his Patreon can like put NPCs in the game. I might do the same thing except not pay, just with channel points, like I don't know, 50,000 for a NPC or 25,000. I don't know, something like that. That could be fun. But either way,
yeah, stuff that's relatively easy to do in like mid encounters.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, but yeah, so as I described before the break, and let me just adjust my cam a little more. I'm not too worried if it's perfect, but and the cameras should be fixed. Chat, please let me know if they do freeze up now, because now they should work.
It's doing my brain a frighten. I'm trying to for some reason I'm looking at your stream, but hearing you, so it's really out of sync. And I'm like, why is it wrong?
So I'm gonna move us to a map. You guys should now be able to see.
Oh, yeah.
This map is courtesy of Drake, by the way. He's pretty good at making maps.
It's like we don't even fit, dude.
Yeah, so I was thinking about how to represent you guys in particular, because your characters are like real big. The idea is that you take 2x2, you're large creatures, but you're on like you're not on the
we don't literally, unless we're laying on the ground, we don't literally fit in the entire 10-foot square.
Yeah, it's not like that whole thing is
we're able to threaten that space.
Yeah, exactly. That's your zone of control. So you're not literally that big. You guys aren't really on the grid right now, so feel free to just position yourselves within a square or two of how you would be once you realize a fight is about to break out. The rest of you,
I kind of like this. We're just walking the boat in half.
It'd be something like that.
Yeah.
Where's the fish dude?
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna hold on. So here's the thing: as this kind of fish boy comes over at the back end of the ship, the captain, who is again, he's an experienced fighter, pretty much immediately stabs that one back with his own weapon, and that one falls over dead. But before you guys can really even react, there are more crawling over the deck, or onto the deck rather, over the rails. So there will actually be 3 of them. I see you guys moving all around. Here, put yourselves where you would be. And
oh, I see them. Okay.
Yeah. So and you can choose which rows you would be on, but roughly in the middle though. And so these sea folk, as they're called, climb overboard. And so Craigox and Drake, if you were here, would recognize the sea folk. They are a common theme in the other game I'm running, actually. But they're common in all parts of the world, really, as basically nuisances to sailors. And they essentially will just attack ships that pass by. And they're humanoid. They have legs. They don't have, flippers. They are amphibious. And they put together raiding parties like the one that you are now facing. And on their own, none of them are particularly crazy deadly, but normally the raiding parties consist of their better fighters. So you can also expect that they will all know how to fight. And they start to crawl overboard. There's actually more than just 3. There's about maybe 8 or 9. I'm only representing the ones that will be focusing on you guys, right? And that's oftentimes how I do combat with, when you're a part of a crew, for instance. You can imagine that the rest of the crew is fighting other ones. It's just I'm only representing the ones that you guys have to fight. And basically, however well you do will mirror the how well the rest of the crew does. If you guys barely scrape through, then the rest of the crew will have lots of casualties and injuries. If you guys crush these enemies, the idea is that represents that the crew also crush their enemies. So that's kind of how I handle it narratively. And at this point, let's have you guys roll. Oh, I gotta clear this old one. Hold on. So make sure to click on your character, have your token selected, And then on your sheets, hit the initiative button. And I will do the same for my boys. It'll take me a second.
We also have to roll with disadvantage. Those of us that failed.
Yeah, that is
Since initiative is a skill check.
Yes, that is true.
I don't know if it actually respects disadvantage on initiative rolls. It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't, yeah.
I'll just roll again then.
So I'll just...
Honestly, this might be a good thing. I have healing spells.
Let's see.
True. The Roll20 board on your stream is like really far.
Yeah,
I also hadn't clicked on myself. So
the problem is, I think when I
there we go.
Oh yeah, there.
When I'm tabbed out of that window, it doesn't update, which is annoying. I'll have to figure out how
to... Yeah, for some reason, Roll20 doesn't like to update unless you're clicked into it.
Yeah, so I will have to figure that out, but for now I'll just click back whenever like I change things.
Just plug a second mouse and then focus on two things at once.
Yeah.
Can multiple mouses be connected to a computer? I'm sure.
The problem is more just the active window thing.
Multiple mouses can, but like they control the same cursor.
Yeah, give me a second here. Okay, I apologize for the delay. Let me grab my sheet for these boys. It should, hopefully when I am tabbed in, it should, the rolls I've been all receiving now. During the break I connected to my VPN. For some reason, I guess my ISP blocks Roll20's connection to some extent or another. And so I have to connect to my ISP for it to see your guys' rolls. It's very weird.
The servers that Roll20 use must be associated with some kind of like streaming service or something. So they just throttle it as a blanket sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. By the way, so Sam, since you've played quite a bit of tabletop RPGs, I'm sure this won't be anything new, but just so you and Tartarus know, in my games I tend to roll openly. So Tartarus, you might not know this, but like there's kind of many DMs in real life games especially will use like a screen and roll behind the screen so that you don't necessarily know what the enemies roll. I tend to roll 90% of my rolls open, so you guys know if they actually, I'm not pulling the wool over you guys' eyes. But
we accuse them of cheating enough.
No.
Are we?
I'm just joking.
Are we using modified flanking rules?
That is true. So just so chat knows, as well as I think I brought this up to Sam and Tartarus already, but we do use flanking rules. The flanking rules they have in the like Dungeon Master's Guide or whatever are that if you flank a enemy creature and you can draw a line all the way through it to another ally. Normally it gives you advantage. I personally think that advantage is a bit too much, so instead it's just a +2.
Say it.
It's a +2 to your attack roll, so in other words giving you like, you could say 10% more likely to hit, so so that is just kind of another thing to think about. So I have rolled them all in. Now I will sort them. Okay. And I believe I have it set up correctly.
Oh my god. Literally the bottom.
And let me get this put up over here so that you guys can see.
Hey, if with any luck, it'll be over by the time I even go.
And I think we will go ahead and get started here. So, the first one is this green boy. He's not green. I just, use the markers to show which one I'm talking about. Although, I don't know, maybe some of them do have a slightly greenish tint to their kind of scales. He will clamber aboard here, kind of shoving whatever crew member is there in that spot out of the way. But as he kind of clambers aboard, he sees the big boy that is basically just stood up to get ready to fight next to him. And he's going to target the big boy, It kind of makes sense. The biggest threat next to him is is Landor. So, he's going to stab at you with a spear held in both hands. Does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay. He then, kind of dropping the spear to just one hand, just like quickly lunges with his claws, or his right claw out, and tries to claw you. I'm assuming a 20 hits.
Can I just say no and you'll believe me?
No.
That hits it.
Yeah, it hits. It does 4 damage.
It's a lot.
It is a good bit. As he kind of comes lunging in. Yeah, the spear would have potentially done more. But either way, he comes clambering up, slashes, or, he tries to stab, misses with the spear. Hits with that, though. That is all he does. He kind of like gives like a big grin to Landor, and you can see that his teeth are actually filed down to points. It's gonna actually bring us to Perplex, to Rook. You see another one clambering up. He's not yet fully up, but he's clambering up the railing.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do?
My character, I'm just losing my shit. I've never seen anything like this before. To be honest, I'm like a little bit scared. So I just start swinging, dude. I just take my axe and I'm just swinging at him.
Would you enrage first, or?
No, I'm too scared to think about being angry right now. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I like it. All right. Let me check. And yeah, they do have some sort of rudimentary armor. It is not clear what material it is. It's something that you would find growing underwater that has been woven in a way to work as like a chain shirt or some sort of leather armor would. It's not clear exactly what it is, but it is not good enough to protect against a hit from your hand axe there. So feel free. Do you remember how to... So if you click on the word hand axe in that roll, it'll roll the damage for you. There you go. 5. Not bad. And yeah, you take a good chunk out of this guy as he... Oh, it wasn't updating on stream. There we go. I'm showing the roll now. You take a good chunk out of this boy. Like you hack into like his shoulder as he's like clambering up, and it howls in pain, but is still clambering up. Okay. Do you do anything else? I don't. You could move, but that would potentially provoke an attack of opportunity. So,
yeah, I'm good.
Okay. That will bring us to the guy up here, who is actually going to clamber aboard, and the guys around him are already fighting some other ones, the other crew members. He's actually going to rush at Torgir, and Torgir is looking, well, Drake kind of described him as looking already kind of terrified and exhausted, and he rushes at Torgir. He will, he's going to do the same thing that the other one did with Landor. He's going to try to stab him.
Dude, if he had crit and just like ended him.
And then he'll do claws as well. And I actually need to check what Drake's AC is. Okay. Those will both hit, actually.
Oof.
Drake doesn't even have a 13?
He has a 13.
Oh.
You're gonna be disappointed in me, brother.
You're a druid. I'm consistently disappointed always.
Yeah. So Torgir actually takes both of these hits, a spear like right in the gut, and then the claws like raking across his chest, and he just screams out in pain and fear as well. However, what you see is that I forgot to roll him into initiative, so I'm just going to have his turn be at this point as well. As this happens, he just, you see like this blast of magical energy almost instantaneously when the thing hits him. He just reaches out a hand, and these 3 bolts of magical energy come shooting out, arc through the air, and hit this thing on like the chest and shoulders, and it reels back. He's casting Magic Missile, which I don't know if Drake actually has, but whatever. We're going to say he has it for now. And he's a wild magic boy, so he's just, maybe he didn't mean to even do it.
Hey, maybe he has it now.
Yeah. Either way, the guy will take hits. I think, what is magic missile? It's like 1d4 plus 1 times 3? Something like that, I think. Oof.
Yeah, I believe you roll the dice once and then
it
that's the damage.
So it's only 6 damage. Either way, I mean, that's still not bad. These guys are not super tanky either. It's not enough to visibly wound the guy. Which, by the way, Tartarus, just so you know, in game terms, visibly wounded means below half health. Or rather, at half health or below. So, if I say visibly wounded, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Which is like an unofficial rule as well, but I like it. It makes sense you'd be able to visually gauge if an enemy is about to die. So that guy takes a decent hit, and Torgir, I will say Torgir is looking real rough as well. Technically, that would have taken him down, but I'm gonna leave him with 1 because I don't want to have I don't want to have Drake's character go down when he's not here to. So Torgir's character is Drake's character Torgir is barely standing after this onslaught. That will bring us to Landor.
I'd probably start off by saying, "Fish salesman, what the fuck are these things?"
Not good for eats. Not good for eats.
And then move down 1, blocking the path of this one.
Okay.
And just take a swing, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sounds good. Feel free. Okay. Yeah. You wouldn't have advantage. It would just be the 20, but that is definitely a hit. So. Yeah. Yeah, and also, so Sam and Tartarus, just so you know, if you roll with advantage, or if you roll the 2 rolls but you don't have advantage, we just take the left roll, the first one that's rolled. It's just a convenience thing. Some people prefer to just roll 2 always, just in, so they don't have to change the options. And yeah, so it'll just be the is your fighting style dueling, that applies here? I'm assuming. But
yeah, I only have 1 melee weapon.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay, yeah, I got you. So yeah, it won't be the 7 since it's not the crit, but it'll be 12 damage, which is still a lot of damage for these guys. I mean, even compare that to your guys' HP, that would have taken down a couple of party members. So that's a good chunk of damage. This guy is not dead, but he is visibly wounded, and he kind of had been leering over, or not over you, below you. He'd been sort of leering, leering and mocking you after he had gotten his claws into you. But then you just basically hack at him, and his face turns to concern. Is that all you do?
Yeah.
Okay. That will bring us to Lars now. What is Lars gonna do?
Alright, so with the guy with the glass eye, he seems to be struggling a little bit. I don't really want any part of that. The guy with the axe seems to know what he's doing. Sticking next to him. I'm shaking a little bit. I pull out 2 knives, one basically a short sword and a dagger.
Okay.
And is this guy climbing up the boat right here? What's going on?
He's climbing up the boat. Yeah, it would there wouldn't be any cover or anything. It would just be a normal roll.
Okay, so I'm assuming his hands are at the top or something. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna take the dagger and I'm gonna try and hit his hand with it, to get it into the ship or whatever, and then swing at his head with the short sword. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're doing the offhand and or which one? You have one of them as the offhand, I'm assuming. And then...
Yeah, the short sword would be the primary, and then the dagger would be offhand. So
okay, yeah, I got you.
For right now, yeah.
Free to roll it up.
Right. So this is going to be for the short sword, and then this is going to be for the dagger. And they're both pretty tight.
Yeah, those are really good rolls, and actually, Sam, you've been having good luck tonight.
I have been having good luck.
Overall, the party's not been having great luck, but you have.
He's got his script installed. That's why he's rolling everything manually.
Yeah, totally.
That's why he's not using the sheet.
No, but yeah,
those you gotta share those with private message.
those are both definitely hits. Like I said, they have rudimentary armor, so.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to use the sneak attack with the short sword because I have Rook here next to me. So this is the short sword damage.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this is the dagger damage.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That is pretty darn good. In fact, that is actually enough to kill this thing. Well, it had already been hit a little bit, so it was already a little weakened, and then you basically just come in, and so like you said, the dagger basically, you basically wanted to like pin its hand into the railing.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah,
I have a spare dagger, so I don't need it.
You pin its hand into the railing, and then basically just, I'm assuming, thrust your sword at its neck or face or
something of that nature. Some sort of dirty shot, you know. Something.
Yeah, you hit the thing like in the neck, and basically it just collapses back. I'll say it here. You know, here, we'll do this. Hold on. If I'm gonna roll a D2, basically flip a coin. If it's 1, the dagger goes with it. If it's 2, the dagger flops onto the deck.
I'll go. Yeah, 1. It's
Okay. Oh, sorry. If you wanted to roll, I should have let you roll it, but. Either way, your dagger, it like pops out as the body basically just flops into the sea. So you are you can pick that up during the next round or whenever. Either way, that one just basically just collapses. I don't know, does Rook, does he like say anything or give any look of approval or anything at this point? Tartarus, with your character, yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of stuff. Sorry. I was gonna wait, but yeah, I turn and I look at Lars, and I'm quite surprised by his meek figure able to take on this monstrosity from the sea, and I give him a little nod and a smile.
Yeah,
a bad catch.
Yep, and turn my attention towards the Torgir.
Yeah, here, you know, I'm gonna. Okay,
we're generally pretty loose as far as like being able to talk and converse during combat, even if it's not your turn, as long as you're not like
you
literally
can't, like,
stepping over people trying to say what they're doing.
Yeah, you can't like you can't do anything really off your turn besides reaction things. But like
you know,
speaking,
if you see somebody about to cast fireball at your face, you can scream no, for example.
Yeah, stuff like that. You can talk during combat.
We're on a wooden ship, idiot.
It's raining. It's fine.
But yeah, that will. Let's see. So that was this one. Let me mark this one as being dead. Give me a second here. That was Lars. After this would have been that guy. He is deceased. He is of interest now only to historians. That will bring us now to Adric, actually.
Alright, so Adric is going to grab his presumably gigantic shield off the exterior of the boat, since I assume we're doing that classic Viking thing.
Yeah, totally, that works.
And he's gonna, like, honestly, it's a little awkward. He'll straight up be stepping over people on his way over here, and like grabbing onto the mast of the ship, and then he'll reach out a hand to, oh god, what's his name?
Torgir?
Torgir?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, in character, he'll be like, Torgir, right? And slap him on the back and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay, nice.
So you just kind of see him mumble something and slap him, and a slight green glow emanates from his hand briefly.
Yeah, sounds good. Roll up your heal, and I'll apply that to Trey's character.
Ooh.
Like I said, I wasn't gonna let him get knocked down that easy when he's not here, and I didn't have to put him on the battlefield. But either way, he did get hit, and he was hurting real bad, about to go down. You come in, basically heal him up almost to full. So
yeah, and then he'll just kind of flail his shield at the fishman and yell some slur in giant.
Okay. The sea folk has no idea what you say, but he gets the message.
Uncultured swine. Doesn't even know giant.
Yeah. And that will actually be that's the whole first round, bringing us up to the top of initiative. When hold on. When another one is going to clamber up.
Another one.
Hold on. I just got to copy and whoop. Right over here. Another one actually is going to clamber up.
I was worried the one that I taunted just gave birth.
No. Let's get a different color. And,
Scared the baby out of him.
let me roll it into initiative. Oh god, it's going at the very end as well. There's actually going to be another one as well. So there's 2 more that are going to clamber up. One is there. The other one is up here on this end.
Oh no. Maybe I should have helped my brother.
And like I said, there's actually already another 7 or 8 or so that the rest of the crew is fighting. There's a lot of them. In total now 15 or so, that have all clambered up. Okay. So they will work them into the initiative as they will start clambering up. They're not yet on board. They are in the same position that one was that got knocked off. So, brings us first to the one next to Landor, which will try to kind of off balance from the large gash that Landor laid into him. Just going to try to stab you with its spear.
Nope.
And what I'll say is because, he's already described as being off balance, and he does have his claw attack, but I'm going to say that he's so off balance and, lost so much blood already, he's not even going to get a chance to. He basically stumbles over himself, basically stumbles into Landor. And he rights himself up, but that's going to take the rest of his turn.
I was also wondering one thing, just lore-wise for my character. Can my shield just be a very large fry pan?
I'll allow it, sure.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. You don't get arm coverage, but you're basically swatting attacks away with your pan in the offhand.
It'd be like a big walk or something.
He's playing PUBG.
It's literally PUBG. You got the ass pan.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. For a normal character, I would probably say no, but your character's so big that they could get a big enough frying pan and wield it well enough. I'll allow it. Yeah, I would say.
I am proficient with cooking utensils.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so. I would say it's gonna be hard to find a +1 frying pan, but
Yeah, we might have to ditch it in the future. But...
Yeah, but for now,
that's where you get custom magic.
You could get it enchanted maybe, but no, for now that's fine. Rule of cool. So.
Get a freaking wok made out of adamantine.
Oh god. Yeah. All right. So yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh no, sorry. That was its turn. It's now Rook's turn.
Me, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually walk through us if you want to for some reason.
I just realized it didn't update.
It's rough terrain, so it'll be double movement cost to go through us.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So at this point, I'm okay. So Lars can handle himself. He just took out that one dude that was in front of me. I'm quite impressed. My character is also recovered. I'm no longer taken aback. I'm ready for battle.
Okay.
So I take out my warhammer and do hold it double-handed.
Okay.
I move towards the fish dude that's attacking or was attacking Torgir.
Okay.
Use one of my rages.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and take a swing at that dude with my warhammer.
Okay.
Oh.
He tried.
Yeah,
you did try.
I did try.
You did try, but unfortunately,
overconfident.
Maybe still adjusting to fighting on a boat. We'll explain like that. Yeah. You're still adjusting to the sway.
We are in high seas right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's big waves going on right now. And the sea folk are used to that. They literally live in the sea. But you and the rest of the crew used to it. Your character's still adjusting. You try to swing.
Have you seen the videos of people on crab boats during storms where they're literally almost sideways laying on the floor at times?
Yeah.
And they're just walking along like nothing.
Yep. Yeah. Alright, so that's your character. And so just so you know, Tartarus, this you might already know this, but so it's a bonus action to activate your rage, but you don't have anything else to use bonus actions on for right now. I'm just letting you know so that you can kind of get used to the combat systems.
Yeah. He used it all. He did his free action to grab a weapon, his bonus to rage, and his action to attack.
Yep, and just so you know, the rage, it lasts a minute, but if you don't attack or get hit by an attack between rounds, it does go away, actually.
Do you have to get hit? I thought it was just get attacked.
I think it's get hit, because in the other game I play as a barbarian in, I believe it, from my recent memory, because I checked it recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to get hit this round to keep my rage to next round.
No, you're good, because you attacked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even if you miss, that's fine. The idea is you're still fueling your rage with the attacking motions, you know. You could, as long as you attack at all, so. The idea is you just can't say your rage while you're just running away from a fight and not getting hit. So,
yeah, that'd be so terrible if you had to get hit. Every single round, you just have to get hit.
Punch yourself in the face.
Yeah. So that'll bring us to this new one that is clambering aboard, and it will run down to here. Yeah, just punch yourself in the face, as Zyle says. Yeah, no. This one runs down here, and it's gonna try to stab at Landor.
Does not hit.
It doesn't really. What is your AC? Actually, I'm curious.
18.
18. What do you have on for armor? Well, besides your torn up clothing.
Chainmail.
Okay. No, fair. I mean, you are a fighter, so it makes perfect sense you would have.
You don't even have to get attacked and take damage. You just have to take damage from any source.
Yeah.
Stub your toe.
Yeah, so either
Light yourself
way,
on fire.
Yeah, so they miss with that. They will try to claw you. We'll see, that will hit. Yeah, so
it does hit.
3 damage, which is I think it's very low, but you also don't have much.
My brother's gonna die. Character development.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, your character is you're visibly wounded now as well. So besides Torgir, who almost went down but then got healed, Landor is now the second to almost, or he's not almost down, but he is injured visibly. That's that one. Next up is this one. This one had attacked Torgir. Torgir, besides the magic stuff, has not put up much fight, is not physically intimidating. And so this guy's going to turn his attention to the much larger, kind of more in-his-face threat of Rook, who is like, I don't know, does Rook battle cry or...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Orcish battle cry.
Yep.
He's all into it, yeah. And definitely Shoal is like next to you battling another one, which again, I don't have represented, but Shoal is there yelling an Orcish battle cry alongside you. And this one is going to attack you. He's going to try.
Does not.
Oof. I'm sure that'll hit though, right?
Yep, that hits.
Okay. So here's the
I'm
thing.
like 14.
So here's the thing, Tarshus. So you know, when you're raging, physical damage gets reduced by half, and it rounds down.
Yo.
So that 5 would have been, the 5 would have been a third of your HP, which is a lot. Instead, it's 2, which is like nothing.
Let's go.
So yeah, that's a barbarian early on can be very helpful. Let me also, I just realized I'm gonna change the music to some Witcher battle music. Okay. There we go. Okay. That is, so it claws at you. The claws don't really make it into your, past your, well, actually, do you have armor? I don't remember.
I do have light armor.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Or do you have any, like the leather armor or anything? I don't actually remember. You might just be on armor.
No, I don't have anything.
Yeah, so it basically you're just so mobile in combat, it can't really get a grasp on you. Alright, that'll bring us to Landor.
Yeah, I think first off, I'm going to do something about me being injured.
Okay.
That seems like a logical thing to do, right?
Oh, you have your, second win?
I do have second win, which is a D10 plus fighter level, which is 1.
Yeah, and it's a, 4?
So, 4?
And it's a bonus action, right? So
it is a bonus action.
I forgot that you got it at first level. It's one of the best things you get really early on, so...
Yeah, it's one of those things that just doesn't scale well, so you kind of forget more fighters have it.
But at this point, that's a huge difference. Yeah. Basically, Is Landor like he kind of steals himself thinking of the meals he's gonna cook after this?
Yeah.
Yo, maybe there's just a little bit of food stuck to that walk, and he snarfs it down real quick, dude.
Yeah, save some of that squid for later.
Alright, so what do you do next?
I mean, the logical thing is to attack the one that I've already hit.
Okay. Yep, and a 14 will hit. Roll your damage, although I was gonna say it's not gonna. You literally couldn't not kill him. You're guaranteed to kill him. You have 3 HP. So, yeah. How do you finish this one off?
I'd like to take my frying pan and just like bat him back into the ocean.
Okay, I like it. And yeah, he goes whoop and gets yeeted overboard. I like it. Good shit.
Just sent like 20 yards out into the sea.
Yeah, he'd probably go a little further.
Smacks into the side of a wave.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and his body sinks. With the armor and stuff they have, they get weighed down. All right, good shit. That's good. Is that all you do? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh god, I forgot. It doesn't update unless I gotta remember to click onto the window occasionally so that it gets updated. Okay, yeah. So that's all you do then. That'll take us to Lars. What does Lars do?
Alright, so what Lars does is now that he sees he's alone with this thing, and there's another one of these lizard folk things that are behind him that all 3 people are kind of ganging up against, and it's not down yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting kind of nervous. You're gonna shove the fish creature back into the water with his open hand, and just like take its face and like try to bring its neck back in like a weird angle to like get it down the ship side.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
I
So
think
that's an athletics check right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a grapple check basically, right? So it's just a modified.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a shove attack or whatever it's called.
Yeah, this is a shove attack.
Yeah,
right here, so.
it will not succeed. So it is definitely you succeed at what you did. So yeah, so basically what I would say. So the way you described it would be that it gets basically like battered by the oars as it goes down the length of the ship, kind of.
Yeah, like the idea is like I'm just trying to disconnect it from the ship and then like shove it out, and at least delay the time until it comes back up here to a turn or two.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I would say that definitely works. Yeah, I would say it probably like you might maybe even grab it in, pull it, and then just shove it out like with a full extension, and it gets shoved out. And what I would say is obviously these things are adept swimmers. They even have like a swim speed and everything, but you push it with such strength that it just like splashes into the water way off balance, and it will take I'll say that once it gets to its turn, which is coming up next, it'll take its whole turn to get aboard. So that works.
Cool.
Do you move anywhere as well, or?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Now that I see that I'm safe, I will seek refuge in this one unoccupied space in between the people that I can trust, I suppose.
Okay.
And that's
so you like run an L through me and up there?
I pretty much do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can I pick the dagger up that I dropped on the way there, or no?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Sweet. All right.
Yep. And it is now going to be the one's turn that you had just shoved. And like I said, I'm gonna, because you used your action to shove it and basically committed to that, it will require its action to clamber aboard. It essentially has to dash.
I really like the dude with the Adonis body, just terrified of combat to the point where he just shoves people away and runs away.
Yeah, but I would say he uses his full... He's able to move up to here, but it takes his movement and his action. So, yeah, he does not get to attack this turn. Cool. Yeah, actually, that's all that one does. This one is dead. I can remove him. It's it's Adric's turn.
So how's my brother looking? Is he back up past half?
Yep.
Where he looks all right?
Yeah, he's looking all right. I mean, still injured, but like not visibly injured in a game sense.
Looking good.
All All right. My boy will grab his spear off his back and I guess swing at the red token boy.
Okay.
With his spear one-handed.
Cool.
All right. Oh, well, that would be normal. So
yeah, it would just be the 20, a non-natural, or non-natural 20. Oof, that's rough. Is that? That's good. Oh, it's not minimum. That's so rough. You hit the guy, and that sea folk is now visibly wounded, but it is one of those things where I'm
doing my part.
Yeah, he does have a decent chunk left.
Yeah, I'm having a little issue, like fishing between two of my allies.
Yeah.
I'm also like straddling the masts for the ship as well right now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Alright, that'll do it.
You do hit him though, and you help whittling him down. I also just realized I had forgotten to have Torgir go, because I said he would go when that one went. So here's what he saved his action for some reason. Yeah, he waited for you to open that one up, open its defenses up.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he'll do another magic missile. So I guess it wouldn't matter anyways. But we'll say, let's see, 3 and then times 3. Yeah, so he actually waits till you kind of open that one's guard up, and then he blasts it with magic missile, and that actually is enough to kill that one. So Torgir will actually get a kill, knocking this one back with like magical energy, knocking him down dead. So he actually, and so he clearly is able to hold his own. But yeah, that will bring us to the next one.
Me, I believe.
Oh yeah, because this one's dead. So you are absolutely correct.
Getting threatened by Purple Boy.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm pretty peeved because Lars, I thought he could handle himself, but he decided to just, book it and go into protection of everybody. So now I'm a bit mad. Yeah. But I also see this as an opportunity because in orc culture we have large warriors. We hold them in high regard, and I have an opportunity to impress Adric here.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my warhammer and I take a little uppercut swing at Purple Boy.
Okay. And definitely, just to give you an idea, like, oh jeez, just to give you an idea, like, in the orcish culture, like,
yeah,
it's all about finding worthy opponents to really earn glory. And from what you've seen of these guys, all of these guys are much more deadly than any average like person would be, right? These guys are all very fairly trained and fairly tanky enemies to be fighting. So you find it a worthy fight. However, I don't know.
Am I doing this right? What? Because I'm rolling like a D10.
Is it?
It looks like. Well, it says Warhammer.
No, it's
1d10 plus 3.
No, that's the damage.
That's the damage. Okay, I'm just getting bad luck.
Yeah, if you hover over the 6,
D20 plus 3, and you got a 1 on the actual.
Yeah, plus 3
D20,
plus 2,
which is why it's red.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. True. So it's just bad luck. That's it's Lord Tartarus. Tartarus's first session.
Honestly, Edric kind of leans over, kind of concerned, because it looks like you're not doing so good, and you just feel his body heat behind you as you just whiff right into the deck.
Yeah, so I was gonna say probably with a natural 1. I don't normally punish natty 1s that much, but I like to cinematically punish it in the sense that you splinter a huge chunk of deck, which if you guys make it through this will take some repairs.
Captain's going to be doing his rounds up and down the ship later and just step in a hole.
Yeah, it's not anything that'll have any mechanical effect, but you can imagine that the ship is got a little damaged by that hit.
Hey, Captain having a sprained ankle, that's a mechanical effect.
Yeah, so that's you. It's now this one. This one will attack Landor, or you'll try to attack Landor. Nope. And then the claws. So
Ooh.
So coming in with its spear first, Landor whacks it aside with the frying pan, I imagine. And yeah, then the claws come in though, and Landor wasn't really expecting it. Bruh. Bruh. I got a crit. And then I rolled.
To be fair,
I guess maybe I don't have to use my reaction.
To be fair, that is near expected average, so.
It is, yeah.
But you expect your first nat 20 of the campaign to look a little more impressive.
Yeah. The claws.
Small rules.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Small rules tidbit. I don't know if we want to play with it, but usually natural weapons can't crit, like claws and
really?
hands and stuff. Yeah.
Is that a? Are you sure about that?
It might be 3.5.
Okay,
that definitely sounds like a 3.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
don't
don't
think
think 5th
edition
edition
weapon
has that.
variation.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because like from what I know, like a weapon, because like a lot of animal, like or a lot of things like dragons would not be able to crit. Then you know what I mean? So,
yeah, if I am
true.
remembering correctly, the only thing they have as far as 5e is if you like if it's a spell attack, it doesn't crit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll check that later. But I probably that sounds like maybe optional or maybe like a 3.5 thing. But either way, we can check that later. So that one in either case, in this case, it wouldn't make much of a difference as it comes in claws. The next one is dead. Yep, okay. It is Landor's turn now.
I do appreciate he's not even removing him from the turn order. He's just like, yep, that one's dead.
No, I rooted now. I get it now.
Alright, well, we will retaliate.
Yep. Makes sense. Wow, yeah.
You didn't knock another hole in the deck.
Yeah. Perplex, you rolled not great out of combat, but now you're just crushing the rolls.
I do it when it matters.
Yeah, the damage is not like incredible, but it's also fine. It's not visibly wounded, but you get a good gash in. So. Do you do any bonus action, anything else, or?
No. Okay. There's nothing I can do.
All right, sounds good. That'll bring us now to Lars. What is Lars gonna do?
Just like. For like this diagram, on the right side, is that the udder, and then or like the rudder or whatever, and then like on the left there's some stuff there. Like I'm just
yeah,
curious,
you know
like,
what? That's true. I had the ship reversed. Yeah,
you had us. I guess you had us at the front.
Yeah. The ship should be reversed. Yeah, so I apologize.
Okay. There's the rudder at the back.
Yeah, so the rudder should be on the left side rather. We can. Yeah, actually, I could probably just flip it around. Hold on.
It's okay. I can just memorize that. I'll say it's at the left.
Yeah.
Like, how's the ship doing? Like, beyond being attacked by lizard people or fish people or whatever.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like they're not focusing the ship at all. If that makes sense. They were basically just in general. You being a fisherman, you've probably never run into them because they mostly patrol open waters, right? Which is not really prime fishing grounds necessarily. But you definitely heard stories about them and know protocol for how to deal with them. They generally just try to kill all the crew and then take the stuff. They don't try to scuttle the ship.
So most of the damage to the ship has been done by my character.
Yes, basically.
Great.
Yeah.
And I suspect no one's like trying to steer the ship at the point, right? Like everyone's attacking everything or whatever.
The captain would have like handed it to the old man.
Okay, all right.
The old man is steering the ship.
The non-combatant anyway.
Yeah, which is again, what is his name? Avar. Yeah, Avar.
Yeah, I imagine the rudder with nobody rowing and presumably the sails drawn in the storm is doing precious little anyway.
That's true.
He's keeping it steady as best he can, but yeah.
All right, with the trying to defend the rudder in mind, I'll just move closer to it and help deal with this guy here.
Sounds good.
This would be the short sword.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely a hit.
I don't know why my rolls are so good. This is really weird.
No, you're doing. Yeah.
and that's going to be the dagger as well.
Okay.
That I picked up again.
Yeah.
And we'll just roll damage all
Look at
together.
him taking the script off.
You
so
might
it's
not even need it. We'll see. This guy has been hit, so you might not even need both.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's okay. Just do it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, you definitely come in, and I mean, you could describe how you use your weapons to dispatch this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's distracted by the very tall humanoid, and I just do a double plunge kind of deal.
Yeah.
And really, I just want to get to the rudder. This is like I guess it was easier than I thought it was. I wasn't expecting it to be this easy.
Okay.
Maybe all the training that I've done in the schooling that I've had was surprisingly effective.
You're a natural.
I think.
I guess this will make sense with your. This will probably go straight to your character's head, which makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah. No,
there's no problem.
Yeah.
Unscathed.
Yeah. And then
2 of these things.
And then next time we'll get like 3 natty ones and be like, oh god.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah. So yeah, you do a double stab like you said, and this sea folk like fishman had basically been fully focused with his attention on Landor, and just gets basically skewered and looks up in shock.
That makes it a little less impressive. Double stab into the back.
Well, no, it was like a side, but he just wasn't expecting that much of a lunge. And, yeah. Okay.
Landor will show his appreciation. Okay. Say something like, not only can you sell a fish, but you can fillet one pretty well.
I like it.
Audible groan.
Alright, is that all for Lars?
Yeah, that's me.
Beautiful. Alright, it is now Purple Boy, the last one. He's not been hit yet. So, he will come over and he's going to stay where he is and basically just try to thrust into the bare chest of the man in front of him.
Why do you have to make everything erotic sounding?
He does it.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I assume that's a hit. I switched Windows to update it, and then I tried to click with the...
broken.
No, it's good. There you go. Gosh darn it. I rolled so poorly. He will then try to claw you, though.
Claw, okay. Four again, okay.
Again, both of those get halved, though, so...
Okay, so just 4 in total.
Yep, you take 4 total. All right, that's the perk of being a barbarian. Yep, and so just comes lunging in with the spear, and then the claws with it manages to get some hits in on you. What you notice, though, actually, this is a good chance. Roll me a perception check, Tarchers. Okay. He seems to he actually drops his spear to one hand afterwards, and then takes a claw and starts rummaging around in like a pouch on his side. But you're not able to tell what he's rummaging for, or his intentions. Either way, that's what you see. And that will take us to Adric.
Alright, Adric will kind of take a look around, make sure everyone at the back of the ship is okay. Then he'll kind of awkwardly waltz through this way.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess this counts as centered since I can't really
Yeah, you'd be flanking there.
I think strictly speaking, if we went off grid, I could have enough movement to center anyway. So
yeah, that's flanking. I don't know. I'm not really a stickler when it comes to large-sized creatures. That's flanking.
Yeah,
as far as
I
I'm
guess
concerned.
I will. Seeing that, presumably the rest of the combat on deck is going the way this is. I hope.
Yep.
We're starting to get down to it.
Yeah, it's like I said, the combat around you guys from the other crew members is basically reflective of you guys. So a couple crew members have taken hits. Actually, it looks like you see a body of one crew member. But overall, they're repelling the attack with about as well as you guys are. So.
Alright, so Adric will whip his shield off of his one arm onto the deck and try and stab this fish folk in the back.
Okay.
Ooh!
Ooh, nice. Alright, roll up. Oh, that's
alright.
Great damage roll, too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, describe how you take this guy out.
All right, so Adric will kind of prance awkwardly through all of the benches for the oars here. Get behind him, throw his shield down, stab him in the back up towards his head, hoist him over his head, and give a giant battle cry.
I like it. I imagine that Rook was facing this guy. All of a sudden, a spear erupts through this guy's chest, and he gets hoisted in the air like, oh, you know. And this giant folk, 11 foot tall or whatever guy just hoists him up. I'm assuming Rook is impressed by this, right? But I don't know.
Impressed, but also disappointed at not being able to take on a worthy opponent and being overshadowed by meek Lars.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, you guys shown up by the most cowardly boy in the combat.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's actually, that's true. Lars is actually like much more muscular than the average person, but Rook is used to growing up around orcs too, so it's probably it's like one of those weird things where it's like Rook is like, look at this puny man, even though he's like actually very muscular. But yeah, no, and I don't know, Kragox, do you just thrust the body overboard, or?
Yeah, I'll hold him up for a good 5-10 seconds, and then just sling my spear off to the side.
Yeah.
To launch him into the sea.
It's like in an anime where you like flick the blade to whip off
instead
blood,
of blood, it's an entire corpse.
Yeah, the whole body just goes yeet.
Yeah, then I twirl it 3-4 times, anime style, and put it back into the back holster.
Yeah. Yeah, and at this point, you guys, obviously, that'll end the combat, but you guys would basically, your characters would then help mop up the rest of the other ones that the other crew is fighting, which again, I'm not going to represent. You guys dealt with them fairly well. Again, Torgir got hit, and Landor got hit a couple times, and Rook got hit, but is fine, really, relatively. So overall, you guys weren't in any real danger, and the rest of the crew handled it just as well, able to pretty much, take out them. Again, like I said, I think you would have one death. Someone maybe lost like a hand or something. So, but out of the other NPCs, but there was really no imminent threat to the overall safety of the crew. It wasn't life or death. Just a normal threat. And yeah, you guys are able to quickly, because you still have the threat of the other ship following, quickly maybe loot these bodies, toss them overboard, and get back to rowing. However, actually, let's have you all make perception checks. If I could get a perception check from all of you.
16.
12.
Okay,
rolls
lovely.
continue to be good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Oh my
geez,
God.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So I would say that Lars and Rook are both kind of like looking over their shoulder. I imagine the giant boys. If we can explain this, the giant boys are fairly used to combat, and so maybe not quite like this, but they're fairly used to combat. So they both just get back into rowing like nothing happened. Rook and Lars are kind of still a little maybe flustered, and start looking back over their shoulder. And what they see is that, and definitely the captain is actually using a spyglass to look at the same thing you guys are. What you guys see is that it seems like the ships following you were also targeted. They were not lucky enough to avoid confrontation. So if they hadn't been targeted, they probably would have been caught up to you by now. But it looks like they are actually even still fighting. And so they were also targeted by some sea folk. It seems like this was a raid on all 3 ships at once. Which is lucky for you guys. And the chase will continue. However, I think that is where we're going to wrap up our first session. You guys are on the run still, but you have dealt with your first threat. And again, as these kind of fights are going on, you are getting rotated through, so you do get rests. And what I'm actually going to say is, because I like to have a kind of, the first 3 or 4 sessions of a campaign, starting at lower levels, I like to have kind of a little more linear and thought out. And so what I'm going to say is you guys are actually going to level up to level 2 after this session. Lots of times in my games, the first couple levels up until level 3, they come pretty quick. So you guys have earned your first level up, and you can take care of that off stream, before next week. But yeah, that's the idea, is that you guys will be able to kind of, just this one fight has kind of hardened some of your abilities in your mind and set in stone these sort of abilities. So, yeah.
Does the rest count as a long rest for my rage or no?
Yeah. So the way I normally do it is, regardless of whether it's a true rest or not, I normally count level ups as it's like a Skyrim level up. You get your health and abilities back as if it were a long rest. So even though it's not literally a long rest, it counts as one. So by the time we come out next week, you guys will be fully healed. You'll have more HP. You'll have your second level abilities. So, it also, I like doing that with kind of these more, not scripted, but these more linear kind of intro adventure modules, you could say. I like doing that because it also lets me throw some tougher things at you early on.
You know what I will do on stream, just because I'm a gambling man. Since we're
you're a
leveling
gambling
up,
man.
Yeah, so
I will roll my hit dice to see how much health I get instead of taking the average.
Yeah, before we wrap up here, before we completely wrap up here, so Tartarus,
I got
it's about average.
average.
So Tartarus, when you level up, you have two options for. So every level you gain more HP. You have two options. Your option is to take the average result, which for you would be a 7.
It's always rounded up, since obviously the average of a D8 is 4.5, so it goes up to, I would have gotten 5. But...
Yeah, so the average for you, since you're a barbarian, Tartarus, if you take the average, it would be 6.5, which becomes 7. Plus your constitution, which is, what is your constitution? I don't remember.
Your modifier. Constitution.
My modifier 3.
Okay, so if you just choose to take the average, you get 10 more HP, which is it would take you from 15 to 25. That's a big jump. Or you could choose to roll for it. You roll the D12, the 12-sided die, and add 3. So it's obviously riskier. You could get a 1 plus 3, which is 4, as opposed to your normal 10. Or you could roll a 12 and then get a massive 15 and double your HP, right? So it's one of those things. Do you want to take the chance or do you want to go safe? It's totally up to you.
It is fun gambling with barbarians, since they got such a big variance.
A big swing. Yeah, and yeah, Sam, that's normally, just so you know, that's how I do it, is you can choose at every level if you want to average or roll. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
I usually average it out.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh yeah, me bald.
I zoomed in on it on my stream.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
it's so odd. You have a very good bald head though.
It's very eggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very cylindrical, or spherical, cylindrical.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I would say, Tartarus, you don't have to choose now if you want to think about how if you.
Yeah, I'll let my mind ponder that.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Perplex, are you rolling or taking average? Or are you gonna think?
I'm asking Lon if I should roll or average.
What does Lon say?
I don't know yet.
It might be at work.
Of course he wants me to roll.
Okay. I mean, I figured, yeah.
Yeah, you got a D10, right? So,
9. You got second highest result possible. Beautiful.
Well above the average.
That's very good.
Let's go, Lon.
You just gained my former max HP.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's we will. That is the first session. We will pick up next time. So with the situation, just so people in chat know, and you guys know, with Drag. So Drag is in another game that also does Sundays, but I think he said they only do they're planning on doing every third week. So Drag will be here 2/3 of the time on average. Since I believe we were planning on doing this game weekly.
There'll be some Dark Souls shit where he just fades in and out of existence.
We've worked out an explanation, and it will become clear what that is. But an in-world explanation. But yeah, and obviously, so we'll plan on doing this game weekly. But if people have things going on, like I know holidays coming up, so if you're not able to play, that's totally fine.
We got any tentative knowledge for next week yet?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys, Sam and Tartarus and Perplex, do you know about next week, the 19th?
Yeah, I'm good for it still.
Okay. I
Same
should be
time.
good.
Yeah, probably good, but I'll check back in.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk in the back channels. So.
The problem for me is going to come up when we hit summer, because since it will be light out, there's going to be stuff I might potentially be doing farm-wise.
Yeah.
When we would start.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is I don't know how long this campaign will go on for. It might last. I like to think in terms of like levels, like and tiers of play, because like there's general kind of like levels 1 to 5 is kind of like early game where your characters are just starting to get their sea legs under them. Level 6 to 10 is where you're starting to become decently powerful. 11 to 15 is like you're now a regional powerhouse of a character that is gonna change the world probably.
Dude.
And then
level 4 is gonna be great for me because I have a lot of odd numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, so like either way, the idea is I think this game could potentially last until level 8 or 9. It could go further though. It could go until level 15. There are many kind of ways it could end, and it'll just be up to you what you guys pursue once we get into the meat of the campaign. So,
yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so
I like to leave it
good for next week till further notice.
Yeah. But yeah, so here I'm gonna go ahead and post, or I'll put up the overlay here. This is what I should. So yeah, again, every Sunday we should be here, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I will put these on YouTube as well, so if anyone is watching on YouTube in the future, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and mute us now, and we'll head out. So thanks for hanging out. Yep, I'll get Fahrenheit a raid. That sounds good. All right, see you boys later. In chat.
See you later.
And
later.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.